We're talking with Jonathan Foster, who's the Executive Director of the Gros Morne Institute for Sustainable Tourism. Jonathan, you've just arrived for the 20th and 21st editions of Edge of the Wedge. When you look at some of the progress over the last few months of some of the graduates and some of the projects that are happening, what do you see in terms of how people are putting some of the lessons learned or some of the techniques that they've been learning at Edge of the Wedge to work?
Well, I think that we're seeing lots of good practice on the ground with people all over Atlantic Canada right now in regards to, I think, a greater understanding about how they look at their own destinations and their own sort of backyards of what they have, who the key people are within their regions, and how they can draw that together into some really unique visitor experiences. I think coming out of this, people have a better understanding of how they can take all of those things and pull them together into some really incredible pieces that people are interested in knowing more about. So for me, what I'm starting to see is that understanding from those individuals of how to pull those things together. And we're seeing it, I think, emerge as new product and new experience all over Atlantic Canada. You know, I can see little pockets of it happening in a variety of destinations in Nova Scotia, PEI, New Brunswick. You know, I look at the experienced PEI pieces that are going on. I mean, they're clearly getting how they move forward with their tourism product, and those once-in-a-lifetime experiences are really incredible. And I think the other provinces are taking notice, and we're seeing them pick up on what Prince Edward Island has done and really start to understand what they need to do in that regard. So I think there's a lot of momentum happening, and I think that people really understand from an emotional context now of what they need to do to connect with visitors in new ways.
Why is it so important to have investment into professional development training like this instead of the standard kind of tourism training that goes on?
Well, I think that one of the things that I really see, and I think this is part of the process of coming to Rocky Harbour and to Gros Morne region, is allowing people to have space. To me, being able to bring individuals to this setting allows them to understand things in unique ways, but it also allows them to have that necessary space to reflect on the experiences that they're having and truly process it in a different way. And when I've seen traditional styles of training, we throw a lot of information at them, and people are playing with their Blackberries or their iPhones or whatever, and are not really engaged enough in what they're doing. Here, because there is such an emotional investment that they're experiencing, and that they are sort of separated from the office and from the daily things that they need to think about and take care of, I find that it's a much deeper learning that they're having. So this type of opportunity to bring people, and I know it's a long ways, I know, you know, from a cost perspective, we've talked about this, that it's high, but all of that is irrelevant, because what they're taking away is that much deeper and that much more applicable to what they can do in their own businesses.
At a tangible level, what would you say to operators who are thinking of coming here about what some real benefits are of a program and kind of a professional training like this?
Well, I think that once again, this is from an individual basis of what people can get from this, but there are so many things, it's hard to list them off, one after the other. I think that allows people to experience some things hands-on, allow their creative mindset to sort of come into play here, because we're really showing people some best practices on some fairly straightforward and uncomplicated things. And people always seem to, for whatever reason, go to the extreme in that they have to develop these really complicated itineraries that keep people busy from 8 in the morning until 8 at night. And what we're demonstrating to them is that there are many marvelous things that we take for granted in our own backyards that can be turned into experiences that people are willing to pay for and to come for. And they aren't necessarily that complicated to do. What you need to be able to understand, though, is how you put those together from a timing perspective, from a professional perspective, how you mentor those people, how you price them, how you package it. There's a lot of key things that go into this. So there's the experience development side, yes, but there's also the business development side. I think that this program really helps people on as well.
You've been involved in experiential tourism for a number of years, New Brunswick side, Nova Scotia side, now through GMIST. Why are experiences important? Why do we need to have experiential product in the marketplace from Canada?
You see, I think that it's always been there, and it's not. This isn't new, and for whatever reason, I think back to my own vacations with family, and the things that we looked for in the 70s were the experiences and the pieces. But as we moved into sort of that mass tourism marketplace, we moved away from that, and we started to look at what could we do that we could run hundreds of people through in a very limited amount of time to get the most amount of money out of it. And we've moved away from what really is truly beneficial to a visitor coming to a destination. And I think that this is an opportunity for us to reflect back and connect people in a much more intimate way. And I think that's what individuals are looking for. I mean, we live in a very fast-paced global economy where things change constantly on a daily basis. And when people travel now, they really want that unique and intimate opportunity to meet people on the ground and to learn about what their daily lives are like, so they can leave with a better understanding about that destination. And also I think they can leave with a better understanding of who they are. And I think that's what we all look for in our vacations and the destinations we visit, is we want it to touch us in some intimate way.
We've been talking to Jonathan Foster, Executive Director for the Gros Morne Institute for Sustainable Tourism. We're here in Rocky Harbour on the edge of Gros Morne National Park, but also on the edge of the 20th and 21st editions of Edge of the Wedge, and looking forward to new Atlantic Canadian tourism operators coming here to reflect on their own business practices. Thanks very much, Jonathan.
Thanks.